All opinions expressed by the program participants are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Upscale Love for You. The program participants' opinions are based on the information that they consider from their own knowledge. No expressions or accuracy is related to Upscale Love for You.
Yes, we are back again tonight. Ooh, a little technical difficulties, but we are in the house. So, without further ado, I'm going to slide it right on over to you, Dr. Feel So Good. I am, like I said, Dr. Fabulous from the 912, representing the 305, and the CEO of Upscale Love for You. Dr. Feel Good, it's all on you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Feelgood here, the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce. Coming to you live from I'm in the 202 today, but I'm still not being blue, and I'm doing it for you. The crowd's going to go wild because I am Mama's favorite child. And before I go, I want to say it's not Christmas, but I'm going to say ho, ho, ho. Have a merry time and do your line. All right, I'm going to special over to the next person I'm going to say, and her name is Special K. Let's go, Special K.
All right now.
Hey, thank you, Doctor. Good evening, everyone. This is Special K. I'm coming to you from the 912, Savannah, Georgia. One of the co-hosts of Upscale Love for You. I just want to welcome everyone and thank you all for tuning in to tonight's show. That's guaranteed to give you a good time. And at this time, I'm going to pass it over to our Lady T.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited for tonight. I'm coming live from the 305, and this is going to be a hot topic tonight. So I want all your thoughts. I want all your steamy opinions, and let's start the ride.
All right. Without further ado, is there a Nasty J in the house?
Yeah, Nasty J in the house, guys. Welcome, family and friends, and new guests to tonight's episode of Upscale Love. I'm Nasty J from Jamaica, man, representing the Dirty South. Hope you guys enjoy tonight's show. We have a hot topic. I want everyone to engage in a conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the show begin, guys.
All right. Well, if this is your first time coming to our Tantalizing Talk, definitely don't let it be your last. So, if you don't know about Upscale Love for You, let me just give you a little clue about what we do and all that good stuff. We are here to entertain, educate, and to tell you anything and everything you wish to know about love and relationships. Yes, I said love and relationships. Upscale Love for You often uncover hot topics, sensitive subjects, and tales to singleton, even down to parenting struggles and everything in between. And whether you're seeking an active conversation or just looking for a way to pass the time, hey, you at the right place at the right time, because Upscale Love for You is here for great conversation. So without further ado, we're going to get started tonight. And the conversation, everybody always talk about it. And I'm just going to ask, I'm going to put it out there. Sometimes we date, well, I've dated because my husband was actually 8 years and 4 months younger than me. So I didn't find anything wrong with it. But sometimes when men date really, really young or date females 10 years, 12 years, 13 years younger, they're considered a sugar daddy, or people tend to frown upon that. And with ladies, they say when you're dating younger men that you are considered a cougar or a cougaranian. Well, with me, I never considered myself any of that. I just felt that we had a connection, and it didn't matter what the age was, it was there for the both of us. So I'm going to ask tonight, how many of you, and be honest, enjoy dating younger opposed to older, because I can never get into older men. And I know that's bad to say because I just had my 59th birthday, and I don't think I would want to date anyone older than myself, but I definitely don't want to date old, period. I'm looking at a person maybe from 49 to 53. That would be someone that I think we would mix with, because I just never got into older men. So without further ado, I'm gonna ask that question to old Nasty J. Nasty J, have you ever had a young tenderoni? Come on, let's tell the truth now.
Supposed to be
Tell the
honest
truth,
on this.
Nasty J.
Supposed to be honest on here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, as in how much
maybe like
younger and
five,
how
five
much
years.
tender?
Well,
I
I'm
couldn't hear you.
41. I'm 41, so 6 years younger at the
Oh,
time.
she was 6 years younger. Okay, well, that's
Yeah,
not too bad. I'm talking
no.
about that real kind of stuff like Omarion. I'm not gonna say he robbed the cradle, but yet and still, it's a large age gap with that. So
I,
without
I
further ado,
yeah, no, like when first like 50 or 60, that's when people have most issue with it, or people look down on it.
okay, well, I hear what.
If you're in your 40s, 30s, they date somebody 20s, not much of a big of a gap. And if you're in your 30s, not really date someone who's 18 or 21, because the mature level is not really there.
Okay. So now I'm not going to, you say the maturity level is not there for who? The young ladies or the
Like if a
young
person,
men?
for the young lady, because if a guy's in his 40s looking for a 18-year-old girl, it's it's kind of frowned upon. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think most men, probably like 25, they will date older, but not really 18 to 24 or 25 age.
Well, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to do the calculations right now because wait a minute.
No, Marcus Houston.
No, not Marcus. I'm
Um,
I'm I'm trying to figure it out. Minus 29. So my daughter, and I was just like, what do they have in, how can I say, what do they have in common? Because my daughter's husband is 14 years older than her. And when they first got together, I was like, really now? What do they have in common? But I guess it worked out. Everybody know what they like. And, it wasn't anything for me to say, but I just always felt like, gosh, that's a gap. But as you say, that's a man with a younger woman. Whereas with myself, I didn't think anything of it with my husband being 8 years younger than me. So I'm going to slide this on over to that old wonderful Lady T so you can get it. Crack-a-lack and Lady T.
Hold on. Okay, everyone. Well, I'm the one who always bring the spice. So my thoughts, I feel like, the world has always labeled everything, and that I don't think you should worry about the age. I think you should worry, about the heart. Now, who said dating a 10-year or 20-year-old person was a problem? So I feel like in these days and time, if you find someone, whether they're old or young, and you love them, I think you should go for it. And yes, I am team mountain lion, whatever you want to call me, jaguar, whatever. I'm all that. Thank you, Keisha. So those of you who want to judge, go ahead, you can judge. But as far as Lady T goes, I think you should follow your heart, and I think you should live life. Anyone else? Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm back. As I said, technical difficulties, but y'all, guess what? I am a podcaster at night, but I'm almost a full-time grandma. You know, when the grandchildren trying to give you love, you trying to push them out the house, trying to be discreet. I had to just stop my youngest grandbaby, say, "No, grandma, I need a kiss." So I had to get off to go give my grandbaby some sugar. Okay, so I'm back. Now, Lady T, I need you to call on some of these men so they can give us some experience with whether they were young, old, or indifferent. And I know Dr. Feelgood got plenty of info to tell us. Dr. Feelgood, can you hear us? Dr. Feelgood done stepped out on us.
No, I'm here. I'll just listen.
Okay.
I mean, I'm there is such a thing as a bad age gap. However, if two people like each other and they're adults, they can do what they want. A lot of times looking at the situations that are the two situations that are apples to apples comparison. One, you have an older man who's 18 years older than his wife, and then another one where you have a wife that's 12 years older than her soon-to-be ex-husband. Now, they both saw them when they were 18, 19. Now, one's called a groomer and one's not. Why do you think that is? But and for the record, my biggest age gap dating was 13 years younger, 7 years older. Like I said, if we always say things like girls mature faster. If they mature faster, then they're probably not gonna date guys their age for the most part. They'll date a few people older. And I'm not saying anybody in here did this, but y'all know girls that were in high school dating college guys. Women in college was dating older men that can do stuff for them because, it's sort of, you're looking at getting resources, and with resources, young guys, when I was in college, I was broke as a joke. And I was trying to hustle, get every dime I can. If y'all look at my background, that was me in 1985. So you see, a long time ago, I was 18, 19 now. Now, could you imagine me at that age, the way I look in that picture? Could you imagine me with a 38-year-old woman, 18, 19?
I could.
Okay, what would I have in common with that lady?
Well, first you gotta lay the pipe. So if you got that, then I'm pretty sure she can groom you into everything else.
Notice you said that groom, but you're like it's okay. But a lot of women are okay with that. But if the situation was reversed, a 18-year-old woman is not a grown woman, and there's a difference between being an adult and being grown. Some women that are 18, 19, freshmen in college, they're looked upon as naive and maybe a lot less experienced to the ways of the world. And that's why a lot of people look at those type of relationships, younger female, older male, as predatory, because that the G word, you look at those and saying that I know he's a young man, but it's not going to really harm them. Do you know that young men can be harmed just as much as young women when they're with an older person who has nefarious purposes behind them? They get a warped sense of healthy sexual relationships or healthy relationships in general, and they carry that into their adult life. If they don't get therapy, a lot of things will go left, and they'll be in a vicious cycle of I'm dating older men, I'm dating older women, I'm dating younger, like extremely younger, like barely 18 men and women who don't really have experience, but maybe you feel that you have to control them in that way. But it's basically a double standard. But It is what it is. Now, if I had a daughter, I would not want her to date at 21. I would not want her to date a 40-year-old. Now, a 40-year-old could take care of her, but you got to look on the other end. When she's 40, he's 60, and then his stuff starts breaking down, and then she's expected to take care of him.
Well, I don't think that's true, Dr. Feelgood, because the way times are from the past to now, you had like years ago, you had 13-year-olds marrying like older men and women, right?
Yeah.
Look at The Color Purple. You saw how they got rid of
Yes, The Color Purple.
Got to look at it in the context of the time. I agree. There were women 13, 14, 15. As a matter of fact, my great-great-grandmother on both sides, they were both married and had children by the time they were 17. My great-grandmother, same way, child at 17. My father's mother had her first child at 15.
Okay.
So it's not that, you know, it's never been done. It's just looked upon now because in those days, our grandparents and great grandparents' day, you know, you were 13, you were working. You were contributing to the household. So you either do that in your house or you do that under some man's house. And they looked at that as security for that woman, you know, and then they want to marry off the women as fast as they could. Because that's, you know, as soon as you had your first one, you were on the clock. Nowadays, we look at 13. Could you imagine a 13-year-old getting married today, male or female?
Yeah, because that'd be statutory rape. But check this out now. Most of the time, when you have people that's like with that large age gap, everyone, I'm sure a light bulb goes off and say, what do they have in common? Because most of the time I'm listening to the music in this day and age. And if I had a younger, and I must say now, I can say this firsthand, because my husband was younger, he kept me up with the times, with the new music, all of that, because I'm not a music person. But because he was who he was, it kept me much more younger. Because right now, when I listen to the music today, I'm like, this is some hot a mess. I don't even want to hear it. When I want to listen to some music, I want to hear some Frankie Beverly and maybe. So I can understand when a person says, you're dating a person that young, what do you have in common? And most of the time, when you date someone extremely younger, that's always going to be the light bulb that go off. And you know what I always say, when I see a real old man, and I'm saying an old man with a real young woman, I say this man must have plenty of, you know what, money. And it's just a key fact. And when you look at it that way, and then you say, well, dog, he got old children, I know she's gonna have to fight through it, especially if they get married and he got children that's older than the wife. So let's build that picture. I need someone to tell me, what exactly do you think when you see that? And one girl said, I read the article, she said that she was 28 and her fiance was 62. So 28 and 62. What do you all think of that? I need someone to give me some real key pointers about that. Do you think she's really in love with him? 28-year-old dating a 62-year-old?
She's in it for the benefit.
She's in it for the benefit. Tell me why you think that.
Because of the big age gap.
So you don't think that she truly loved him?
No, they have different interests, because he ready to go to bed at maybe 10 o'clock. She ready to go to the club at 10 o'clock.
Not all the time, Nasty J.
I disagree. I completely disagree.
So Darren, tell me why you disagree. Darren, first of all, how are you? Good evening. Welcome to Upscale Love for You. Tell me, Darren, give me some background on your dating history. Are you married, Darren?
Yes, I am.
You are. So when you
I've been
went
married
out
now
there,
for about 12 years.
12 years, great. But in your younger heyday, give me some background on the dating and the age gaps of when you were dating.
There were some age gaps, but specifically to speak to the issue that you just brought up, the reason I disagree that she was just in it for the benefits. I have seen relationships like that where the guy may be older, the girl may be that young, and it's not always about benefits. It can be about love. It was about love. And sometimes you run into those people that are just old souls. You run into either a guy or a girl who, even though they're in their 20s, early 30s, they still don't have that I'm a hoe, I'm going to be in the clubs, I want to run around. They want that stability. They want that one-on-one situation. And a lot of times the only way they can find it is with that old soul. And that old soul, just because they are 50, 60 years old, doesn't mean that they're walking around with a walker or a cane or rolling around in a wheelchair. It just means that they're older. I've seen some 60-year-old women who I would put up against a 30-year-old any day of the week.
You better tell somebody because you're looking at that 59 right now. I'm just teasing. Go ahead, Darren.
I've seen 70-year-olds that are still in the gym that can outwork a 20-year-old. And I'm talking, these women are still fine. These women still look good. They're not all wrinkled, beat up, bent over. Toes are not curled on top of each other. Eyes are not crossed. Fingers aren't all gnarled up. These are actually some good-looking women. Okay. And by the same token, there are some old men out there that take care of themselves. They may be a little gray in certain areas, but they will take on a 20 or 30-year-old any day of the week. So each relationship, in my opinion, has to be looked at individually. Because yes, there are some that are out there just for the benefits, and yes, there are some men, as the older gentleman, not Nasty J, but the other gentleman, I've forgotten what his name is.
Feel Good
mentioned, yeah, Mr. Feel Good, that they could be out there for nefarious reasons. So you have to take each relationship individually, and both parties have to agree and understand. I'm here. If we're going to build this thing and make it together, we've got to talk about everything. And if we can't talk about it, why are we here? Why are we bothering? Why are we wasting each other's time?
You better speak on that, Mr. Darren. You said a mouthful tonight. Miss Crystal, you got your hand up. Unmute yourself, Miss Crystal.
Hi.
There you go.
Right. Now, I am friends with benefits with one that's 10 years my age. He's older. Mm-hmm. I'm not there for the benefits when I tell you we have so much in common. The fun that we have, the relaxation, the passionate lovemaking or whatever. So he has a daughter that is my children's age. And I'm pretty sure she has a question. Is this woman genuinely interested in my dad? Or is she interested in what he can do for her? I come with my own.
There you go.
Understand me. I am one of those independent women that's been on her job 20, 30 plus years. And I'm talking juggling 2 careers.
All right,
so
now.
I am not there for your dad's pocket. I am there for your dad's company and love. But then on the other hand, in his past, he has dealt with those that can make him feel good, that he had to put out for. So there is some sort of a little bit of intimidation when it comes to me. But understand, a relationship can work and it can be happy. But these men today still got a little bit of game left in them. I guess because it's something about that extra female stroking that ego.
All
And there's
right.
nothing wrong with it because I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of doing. I know I keep him happy, but I will not continue to stay in a friendship with benefits without a commitment. So
Now
it's not
you,
always that young girl.
Amen.
It's
listen,
not always that younger girl.
all right. And I hear
Next.
you. And that's so ironic because you know what? Most of the time, and I know it's bad to say, but most of the guys, when they are affluent or they have that added extra in their pocket and they have a woman, the children always think that you're after what they have. But
That's right.
most of the time, as mature women, we compacting, we ready, we can stand on our own and be independent. So that's not always the case. So I just jumped on in, Lady T. Do you have any other questions for the panel this evening?
Yes, I want to know who labeled the rule that you have to be a certain age, because nowadays in this decade you have 60, 70-year-old men who aren't stable, and then you go down the spectrum and you have 19, 20-year-old men who are stable. So who put it out there that you have to stay, within a bracket of a certain age group? And I would like to hear from Anson.
I mean, let's look at history. I mean, history says that women were pushing babies out at 14. I mean, over time, rights have been established. There's been a lot of women, a lot of women that don't want that for their lives. And to answer your question, who made that rule? Women who were against it made that rule. And we all know that when you are firmly against something, you fight against it. So I would say, to answer your question, who made that rule? Women made that rule.
Why you say women made that rule, Anson?
I just said that women were girls were pushing out babies at 14.
But they weren't pushing them out because they wanted to push them out. They were sometimes you had arranged marriages, just like in the foreign countries, they have arranged marriages. And so it wasn't necessarily their goal to be pushing out a baby at 14. I'm sure that's not one woman in the face of the earth that wanted to have a baby at 14.
I wouldn't agree with you because everyone wants different things. I can't sit there and say that everybody's thought process goes along with mine, but I would definitely say that if it wasn't for women or girls being against pushing out babies to men that they don't desire, then there wouldn't have been a change.
Okay, so when it comes to arranged marriages and in certain cultures, that's when most of the young girls are married off. So, I can't necessarily say that for a 14-year-old to be pushing out a baby, because I would hate to see my granddaughter at the age of 14 push out a baby. So, that had to be way back in history where they really didn't have a choice when they were just trying to make it and was able to live. And I always refer back to The Color Purple because, some things that was in that movie and they proclaimed that was like a real story back then. Yes, back then they had to do it. And especially if you notice, they weren't trying to marry off that pretty one. They were trying to get rid of the one that looked like she wasn't the most She wasn't the most prettiest thing, but she was a hard worker. Crystal, you had your hand up again. You got to unmute for me. You didn't have it up. It was just up by, okay then. So, Lady T, carry on.
Okay, so the last point, I mean, Anson does have a valid point. So with that said, we went from women not having a say into we were being, let's just put it out there, we were being taken advantage of, we were being raped, we were being abused. So therefore, some laws had to come into place. Now, why is it that a man can be penalized for having a younger woman, but the woman is not looked at in a negative way as much when they're dealing with a younger man? Let me hear from the female on that one.
Repeat that one more time, Lady T.
I said when a guy, let's say an 18-year-old or 17-year-old wants to date a 15, 16-year-old, they are labeled or can be labeled as statutory rape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no?
Correct.
But when a woman who's of age messes with a guy or a younger man, same age group, a 15, 16-year-old, they are not penalized as much. Why is
That's
that?
not true. That's still statutory rape, because that is happening. It happened in the school system, sweetheart. Regardless if you male or female and you're not the age constraint, it's still statutory rape. So regardless of if you a man, if you a woman, you see that woman that was a school teacher and she was dealing with the young man and then got pregnant and all that good stuff. You see what happened to her. She had to make time and gave birth in jail. So it doesn't matter if you're female or male, it's still considered statutory rape. Okay.
Yes, but they do not, like with women, they tend to sweep it under the rug a little bit more than a man. Like a female can say, oh, he raped me, and she knows she gave it up. But they are quick to throw the guy, in jail, fine them, whatever. But when a man yell, oh, she raped me, it's kind of like a joke.
Well, I don't know what news you've been watching, but
It's called
in this
reality.
day, in
That's
this day and
right.
time, it's not happening. Because
They
regardless if you're
report what they
male,
want to report. No, when it comes to a man and a woman, I feel like the men always get the bad end when it comes to age, when it comes to anything. But when it comes to the female, I feel like they are a little bit slack when it comes to that. But that's my opinion.
okay. Well, everybody is entitled to an opinion. And with that being said, are you ready for us, Nasty J? Nasty J always get all lost in the wind. He just fly like a leaf.
I'm ready. My phone's on.
All right. Well, bring it on, Nasty J. And after Nasty J, we're gonna give you some special K. Um, Nasty J, come on, we ready. What you got?
Are you ready?
We
This
ready.
is for the ladies, right?
I couldn't hear you.
So, ladies, would you deal with a guy with a lower income, with a different age gap, like say he's 20 years older than you, but has a low income? Since there's no benefits involved in it, that's what you got said.
So what
It's for the love and
you're
affection.
saying is you got a 20-year older man than you,
Yeah,
and he's
she's
living
45.
just one step above poverty. Is that what you're saying?
Remember, the lady said there's no benefit. They do it for love. Someone just want to know if the guy is 65 and she's 40, would you deal with a guy with a low income?
I'm gonna let you ask somebody else that. You wouldn't be asking Dr. Fabulous that at all. You already know my answer.
Any of the ladies? I mean, any lady could answer the question.
Bridget, Marlena,
Keisha.
Hi, this is Bridget.
Bridget is gonna answer that for us.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, okay, so I'm 58, right? And I'm thinking, I mean, it's gonna sound terrible, but like I like to travel and I like to do things. And if he's not able to even pay his own way, I think it's gonna be an issue.
And you said that real nice, Bridget. You really did. I like how you put it in there. And you see that old 58 down there. That 58 look wonderful. I'm telling you, 58 and 59 is the new 40s.
They don't know.
You better ask somebody. But Nasty Jackson. It's almost a no. It's almost a no.
So what's the trade-off for dating an older man?
Wait, what was the question? I didn't get to hear it.
I said, what's the trade-off for a woman for dating an older man? What's the trade-off or the benefits?
Well, see, it's up to if that's what they like. I've never been into older men, so I can't even tell you. I can't answer that question for you, Nancy J. But as Bridget would say, if they can't pay their own way, I guess they're gonna stay at home, Nancy J.
I mean, for the men, I know the trade-off. They want a younger woman so they feel good, feel like their youthfulness, and want to have a great time and just feel like a rock star again, feel like in their 20s. When a man, go ahead.
So the trade-off would be the older man would take care of the younger girl, and that would be his little baby doll, his trophy girl.
Correct.
Lady T, I don't think you heard what the beginning was, because this 65-year-old was living off of Social Security. It wasn't like he was a 65-year-old Donald Trump.
Again, so then that would be a boy toy.
Do you know what the definition of a boy toy is?
Remember, he's 65, she's 40. I mean, he's ready to retire.
Right. I'm like, how would that be a boy toy?
No, I thought you were talking about the first question. So the second question is, then he's older, she's younger. That's more of
she looking for a father figure,
like a sugar daddy.
He can't be a sugar daddy because he on Social Security. So she must have daddy issues. And she got to have daddy issues. Marlena, you have your hand up.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I know my answer gonna change the whole game, but I don't really like older men. I don't want nothing like 5 years older than me and 5 years younger than me. I prefer somebody right at my age level or within that bracket I just said, so we can grow together. Because I feel like with older men, they act like they know everything, the game plan. I can't do with it. And then sometimes if they're too young, they're too immature. So I already have my age, and like I said, in between that bracket. So, and no to the income. Like, I like to think if that's where you want to stay and you have your set there for life, you're not trying to change, then no, I can't do it.
Okay, well, thank you, Marlena. And you were a little frozen, a little robotic, but I guess we got the gist of that. So Nancy J, is that your final question, final say for the panel tonight?
Yeah, that was my question for tonight.
All right. Well, Nancy J, putting it in perspective, I don't know how many women gonna be jumping at that opportunity for that 65-year-old on Social Security, unless they just, they really in love and looking for a daddy or a granddaddy, so to speak.
Said earlier, they're just looking for a connection, a love. So it's not for the money. So it goes to my point. It has to be a benefit in it for the woman to want to be in most of the relationship.
Well, Nancy J, that is, some women like a daddy figure or a granddaddy figure or an older person, but it's to each his own. Everybody have what they like. So therefore, I can't give you that answer because that's not to my liking. And that's so bad of me. But okay. Marlene, excuse me, Marlena, you still have your hand up? Is it up from the last question or you have more to say? Okay, I guess she stepped away. So without further ado, we're gonna come on over to Lady, excuse me, Special K.
Okay. All right, thank you. So this is an interesting topic. So for me, I'm okay with 10 years older, 10 years younger. I don't know if I would go more than 10 years younger. I may go 10 to 12 older, but for the older side, at my age, so I'm looking at somebody who might be 55 at the most, 56, but they have to be a certain type of older man. It just, I'm just not attracted to older men that just look old. So, but there are some good looking 50 plus men out here. I mean, I love the gray salt and pepper beard. I would prefer someone who still has a little bit of, that swag with them, a nice dresser, and things to that, and somewhat in shape as well. It would be nice to, if you're an older guy, I would, prefer that, they're invested somehow in their health in some type of shape. Also, so my question though tonight would be for the women. I want to hear from the women first who may have sons of a certain age. So I'm guessing that we're 40 plus, 50 plus, you may have sons that are now in their mid to late, let's say 20s or even early 30s. How do you feel, or how does that affect you dating someone younger that's closer to your son's age? Because I battle with that. And it has kept me from dating younger men because I have a son. I had my son when I was young, and so my son is of a certain age now. So it's awkward to me. And it shouldn't be. I don't know, but I just have this thing. I feel funny about dating a man of a certain age that's say only 4 years older than my son, meaning they could have went to high school together, or one could have been a freshman while the other was a senior. So I want to hear from some ladies, like, how do you, if you've ever been in that position, like, how do you navigate that, or what are your thoughts on that? Or do you have an age limit when it comes to your grown kids and dating someone younger? So I have any women who would take that question?
Miss Crystal, would you take that question?
And then I see Andrina's up here. I would
Oh,
like to hear from her
well,
next as
Andrine.
well.
Me personally, I would date my age, which will soon be 55. But I do prefer older. Younger, you just deal with so much game. And game does not matter of the age, because like I said, this one that's got me by 10 years, I still see a little slight gain there. So do not discount because he's so much younger. You look at the maturity, you look at the stability. That's what I'm talking about right there. It's not all based on the sexuality, because if the chemistry is there, oh, you gonna compete, you gonna match, you gonna do whatever it needs to do to make it feel good and be compatible. But at the same time, he may be into certain type of music or certain type of outings, or she might be into certain things that just does not compatible, is not compatible to your age range. You might be a little bit more relaxed. This one might be like, oh no, I'm ready to get out, let's go to the club. So you just got to find that range. Age is nothing but a number.
Okay. Age and number.
period.
Y'all know some
Okay,
of that
thank
Aaliyah.
you.
You know that Aaliyah.
Andreen, can I hear your thoughts on the question?
Of course,
I
you
just
know,
asked.
I say 16 get you 20.
What did you say?
Age ain't nothing but a number, but 16 get you 20.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, you wrong for that one. You wrong for that one.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't have sons, but I have daughters who are like in their 20s, older daughters. So when I attract younger people, I always think to myself, like, you could be dating my daughter, or you're like my daughter's age. So I tend not to, like, I couldn't do the 10 years. Like, I just feel like that's too young. I could do older, but I can't do 10 years younger. And I feel like it all depends. Like they did say, age isn't anything but a number, but it is definitely a preference. You like what you like. But I feel like younger, when you have children that are like in their 20s, you just feel like, you know, when they're in their 30s, you know, it's like you're like, oh wow. I mean, you could be dating my daughter. So I just feel like it just depends on the dynamic. I don't have sons, but I don't want to take care of anyone either, because I feel like the younger they are, the maturity level is usually not quite there yet. So I feel like that's the whole piece. And then I feel like the thing with the older man, I feel like they know themselves. Like they know like their faults, their strengths, their weaknesses. So it's kind of like it's easier to deal with someone who already knows themselves instead of that younger age where they're still trying to figure it out. I think a man over 50 kind of knows what he wants, he knows what he likes, and then hopefully he can complement whatever the personality is that you bring.
Hi.
So,
all right. Well, you know what, Andreen, that was a great answer, but I got to share this, and I know this is a little crazy. You all know the dating site. Well, some of you may know. I think it's called Black. And so, of course, like I said, I just turned 59 this year. And this young man, he was tearing up my box, and he was 43. And I said, I accept all the wonderful compliments that you're giving me, but guess what? I think you're very handsome, very attractive, but I would like for you to meet my daughter. And I'm not going to tell tell y'all, I tried to hook my daughter up with the guy. I think they even chatted on the telephone a little bit. And he said, after him and my daughter chatted or whatever, he came back into my box. He told me, I'm going to stick to the older women. And I was like, wow. I said, well, you can't stick with me because that's not what I do. I can't do a person that young. So I understand what you're talking about, Andreen. When you have older daughters, like my oldest daughter is 30. So it felt kind of funny for a person that age trying to come on to me, and I'm trying to hook him up with my daughter. Now that was something else. But Special K, go ahead, girl.
So that's what I face, because I get approached a lot of time by younger guys, especially don't think I'm the age that I am. And a lot of times I pass it up because of the fact of my son, you know, being the age that he is, and it just feels weird to me. I don't know. It just feels weird to me. But I have I understand the whole concept is age is just a number, but I look at things differently. I believe that age, it's more than that. I mean, love who you love, that's all well, you know, and true, but I think of it in the sense of my daughter is 16, she'll be 17 this year. You know your kid, I know how she is, I know how her mental is, you know, she's just getting into learning certain things, and she'll be 18, right? How much is going to change? Like, how much maturity is going to it's going to change from now at 16, almost 17. We're in 2023 to 2024 when she turns 18. So now all of a sudden, and then a 30-year-old man wants to date my 18-year-old daughter. But everybody, it's okay because because her age is 18. So on paper, she's an adult. But how much did you mature from 16 in a year and a half? You know what I'm saying? to 18 to make you okay to be with a man of that much of an age difference, 30 plus. Like for me, and I'm not knocking nobody else, do what y'all do in y'all household, but for me, I can't, I'm just not okay with that. I would really have a problem. And I know some people would look at it, well, she's grown. No, she's not grown. Like a year and a half ago, she had to ask I just had to sign paperwork for her to do this, that, other. She was under, you know what I'm saying? She's not there yet. So I do think there's stipulations on it. So when we start talking, I think on the younger end of the age gap, I think it could be an issue. Now you're 25 and you want to date someone who's 45. I mean, you know, even still, I think that's, but you know, okay, but you know, I just never got with the whole, oh, you're 18 now. I lived that, you know, that's a personal story to me. And at the time I was in that, you couldn't tell me anything. But as I grew older and older and older and older, that man ain't had no business. He knew better. He was the grown up in the situation. He was the, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have no business.
But you was hot. You was feeling it though. You was feeling
no,
it.
it was, but you got to understand there's circumstances, life circumstances sometimes behind, you know, things that we do. And that would be for a whole nother show. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I got
so
you.
It wasn't about being hot. It wasn't about, you know, he was this, that, and the other. It was a lot more behind that. But you know, the circumstance I was in at the time,
mental state, and all of that.
Right, and it was also my circumstance, my home circumstance, just things. You know what I'm saying? And so at the time, you have this older guy who's like, you know, taking care of you and doing this, doing that, you know. But who's more mature or supposed to be the more mature-minded person in that situation? He was. He didn't have no business, you know, at the time. But that's a whole nother story. So maybe that's why my views on it, you know, are a little different, because that was like really an experience. And I just, it ain't no 40-year-old man gonna come talk about they want to be with my 18-year-old daughter. I'm not going for it. I mean, I can't.
That's okay. I have a question for you. What is maturing to you? Like, define maturing to you in your words.
So maturing to me is, I guess it depends on your, when you're really out here, you know, being mature is really doing for yourself, taking care of yourself, not needing the guidance so much of, you know, how to navigate through things and through certain things in life. And I understand that some of us are at 17, 18, 19 more mature. And again, that's what I just stated. Like a lot of it could come from our upbringing or what we may have, you know, some things force us to get, you know, grow older. So maybe it could be, I just, like I said, you know your children, right? You know your kid. I just know mine. I don't see such a jump in maturity from, say, a 16-year-old to the age of 18. Now, you have some that are out here at 18 and they have to be a certain way. They may not have that parental, you know what I'm saying, guidance or whatever. And they might by 18 be working, be doing this, da 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 da. So I guess it's just, maybe it's more situational, maybe, you know, to me, but I still just don't think like I mean, 18 and a man that's 40 years old, I still believe that there is, how can you be on the same maturity level? We say, our elders tell us this all the time. They're older than us for a reason. They have more wisdom a lot of time. They've lived longer. They've had more life experiences. So I believe so yeah, like how does that, you know what I'm saying? This man is going to be, or woman, like, I don't want to just say men, is if it's an 18-year-old boy and he's dating a 40-year-old woman, she has way more experience and life, more experiences than he does. And I personally just feel, I don't feel okay with that. But again, you love who you love, and it's to each his own. I'm just saying my, you know, personal feeling on it.
Okay. Well, Marlena, you have your hand up, or is it up from the last time again?
No, I had something to say.
Oh, okay. Go right ahead.
Okay, so I like stories. So I had a story. So when I was living in Charleston, I was working at this dealership. So the lady that worked with us, she was 48. She was Caucasian, and we had to go to a party. So everybody had to bring a plus one. Her plus one was an 18-year-old, and he couldn't get in. So she begged our general manager to beg the owner, because the owner was selling alcohol. 18-year-olds can't get in. So she begged the owner to let him come in. And he was like, okay, well, if he comes in, he can't touch any of this alcohol. And sure enough, that man came in. And when he introduced himself to everybody, he introduced himself as 25, and he was really 18. So what do y'all think about that? That's weird. She did all that for an 18-year-old.
You say the lady was 40 and was dating an 18-year-old?
She was 48.
Oh, 48.
And he was 18. And make it so bad, he told us at the table that he liked her daughter.
Oh, okay. Well, something was definitely missing there. But okay, thank you for sharing that with us, Marlena. Thank you. And Special K, do you have any more for us?
I actually do. So thoughts on this. So okay, so do you think men who tend to date younger, that could be like a control issue for them, or a fear, say, of getting older or coming to grips with aging and getting older?
Oh, I would love for Darren to answer this question.
Okay.
Darren, you still with us? Darren left us. You just sitting there. Okay.
I'm sorry, I was speaking to someone else. What did you say?
So the question was, do you think that men who date younger women, do you think is that some of that can be based off of a control issue, or a fear of getting older, or coming to terms with getting older for them?
Okay. This is not, this is my opinion that starts by saying that it's not a single item that you can attribute to something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because I've dealt with other friends of mine that have done the same thing. Sometimes it's an ego trip. I'm older, I've reached middle age, but I can still pull me a young hot type. Sometimes it is a good relationship because that guy may be looking for a woman who's re-energized. He was stuck in marriage. He had some old lady that really wasn't doing anything for him. He's looking for some excitement. He's looking for some adventure. So he goes out, he finds this young woman, and they have a great time together, and then they be a wonderful marriage. And it could also be a control issue. There are some men out here, point blank, that just can't handle a real woman. The only thing they can handle is a child or a young girl who's not mentally strong enough to stand up to you. That happens every day. That happens all the time. You have these grown men out here that can't handle a real woman, can't handle a real relationship. They've got to have somebody underfoot. And the only way they can get somebody underfoot is to get some young girl who's mentally not mature enough to handle it. So my answer is it could be any number of situations, and I go back to what I said earlier. You have to look at it individually. Each relationship is different. Like you were just speaking about your daughter. You know for a fact that your daughter would not really be able to handle a relationship with the older man because you understand her maturity level. But then there are some women out there that are mature enough to handle that. But then again, on the other hand, there are some men out here that are still babies at 40, 50, and 60 years old. They never grew up. They're still under their mother's thumb. They still have to have somebody that they can make, somebody that makes them feel like a man. And the only way they can do that is to have somebody that they can control. To have somebody on their level, not saying a difficult woman, not saying a woman that always argues, but a woman that has her own mind, a woman that can think, a woman that can say, you know what, honey, I hear what you're saying, but can we at least look at this? They can't handle that. And that's why you have to take each relationship individually. Now,
I will put an age limit on it. I would still say anyone from 21 and under really should not be in a committed relationship. You still got a lot of life to live. You still got experiences that you need to have. You need to be with this man, that man, somebody from another country, somebody from another part of the world, somebody from another state even. You haven't lived long enough to settle down with one person because you don't know what you like and what you don't like yet. You haven't experienced enough of that. So I would still put an age limit on it, maybe 20 to 25 before you actually get serious with somebody. But it still goes back to how the relationship develops, how it comes off. There was a celebrity relationship. I can't remember the girl's name. She was 18. Her husband, I think, was in his 50s. They were all gung-ho. Everybody was seeing the phone. They lasted for about 5 years until one day when he woke up and realized he is just using me for sex. He is just using me to stroke his ego. He is just using me to make himself feel better. She finally realized that because her people were telling her that you're too young to be married. But then you have some that are old enough so that they can have it. That's just how I feel about the situation. Everybody's different. Every situation is different. But I think you should at least wait till you're 21 to 25 before you're in a committed relationship. Just having babies at 14, 15, and 16, I want to beat the hell out of it. It's just that simple. Her life is now completely different than what it could be when she could be free and explore and be adventurous and find out what really makes her happy.
All right, now, Darren, you said a mouthful.
Yes, he
Darren,
did. Very interesting. Very good.
Can I ask you, Darren, who invited you to Tantalizing Talk this evening?
I was talking to somebody out, and they were telling me about the service, and I said, okay, just send me the link, and I'll give it a shot.
All right. Well, welcome. Please come back again. I enjoy that. But Kay, go ahead. We haven't had any other men to really jump in here and say much. Look like Anson usually be on fire, but he combing his beard. He into himself tonight. You into grooming yourself tonight, Anson?
I'm always into grooming myself.
All right now.
I'll be quiet from this point forward.
No. You listen, we are enjoying your conversation. You was getting ready to say something else, Anson.
I'm just listening.
Just listen. Okay. Well,
so I have one more thing to say. It like when you're doing the whole age gap, and I'm talking about not 5 years, 6 years, but let's just say 10, maybe plus, 12 plus years. How do you what would be like your expectations? Because I feel like if you're a older, say, woman and you're dating a much younger guy, there's a chance that this guy is going to want to still do things that guys that age do. So what if he's like 20 and you're 40, and then 40 is not old at all. But what would be your expectations on that? Would you allow him to, I don't really want to say allow, but would you be okay, that he still may wants to be in the club and maybe you don't? I mean, is that something you're okay? You would be okay with? Like, I think of those things that could come along with such a large age gap. I mean, and it can work. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, how do you handle those when those things, those scenarios come up, or for an older man who may be now a little more relaxed in his life, and the younger woman wants to go out a lot more, things to, just things to that. How do you handle, when it comes to that you have to still be aware that, if I'm dating someone 20, I have to be aware that I was 21 and not like deprive them of the things that maybe 20-year-olds do. And you might be beyond that stage now. That might not be your thing as much anymore. Like, how does that work out? Would anyone like to address that question? Who hasn't?
Cliff.
Yeah, I will. Cliff. We
got Ryan, Cliff,
Keisha.
Keisha.
No one.
Wait, you're saying that okay, so for me, I like women. So, are you saying that if
well,
I'm
tell
a
us
person,
about that, Keisha? Keisha, now you said you like women, so let's get into that topic. How may I ask your age, Keisha?
I'm in my 20s. That's what I could say.
You're in your 20s, so you like them older. I'm assuming. Is that an assumption? Correct.
Yes. I mean, you're
okay. So Keisha, you're in your 20s. What is the oldest woman that you would give eyes to?
I would date 20 years older.
Okay, so let's say I'm going to take that 26, 27. So 47, almost 50.
Okay.
Okay, so with that scenario, what do you think you would have in common with that individual in today's life?
That's a hard question. I mean, that's a question that comes pop up in my mind all the time. I know that this person, maybe this person, because I don't know who it is, because that person may have been sheltered their whole life. You know what I mean? So it depends on who you're going with. If I'm coming in a relationship with somebody who's that old, I'm not coming in as a little girl. I'm coming in as somebody who's mature, and I know how I was raised. Now, to know if that person has kids, like how I would relate to them, I'm not sure. But I know that it comes with a lot of compromise being in a relationship and stuff. But relating to them, that's the hardest part, dating somebody who's older than you, because you cannot relate to almost everyone you date.
Okay. All right. Is there any men on here that would like to answer that question for Special K?
What's the question?
So yes, how would what would be your expectations in dating a much younger woman than yourself? So we talking, say, maybe 15, 20-year age difference, where you may be a little more, settled. Maybe you think it's not the clubs anymore, but she may want to, and it may not be a club, but she may want to go out, more. Like, how do you handle that and letting that younger person still do the things and experience life as a 20 or 30-year-old should be, and you're 15, 20 years older than them?
I can't really relate to that because I've always been the youngest of the bunch. I've never really been older than anyone really who I've hung out with. But I guess to answer the question, I think that you just have to treat it just like you would any relationship. Let people do what they do, and the only thing that really matters is how you're treated.
Okay, let them do what they do. Thank you. Well, if there's no one else would like to chime in, I'm done with my question. So I believe we shoot over here now to Dr. Feelgood.
Yes, yes, yes. Dr. Feelgood, it's all on you. Dr. Feelgood. Okay, well, Dr. Feelgood, I guess we'll just go on into another segment or another question until Dr. Feelgood.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here. I had I'm working on 2 separate screens, so it's just a little difficulty. Once again, this is Dr. Feelgood, the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce. What I did was I put in the box, I put what's called the age calculator, age gap calculator for age gap dating. I also put in a few articles on age gap dating, as well as some of the other things we talked about. Also, as you see, what I put in is there's a rule called a 12 plus 7 rule, or half your age plus 7. So if you're 30, half your age is 15 plus 7. So you should be dating no younger than 22. For the older, it's twice your age minus 7. So if you're 30, it's 60 minus 7, which is 53.
Okay.
That's
I like that. You put it in the chat?
Yes, it's called easycalculation.com/fun/dating. It's in there. You click on the link.
Put that back in there again, because I don't see it. I'm gonna have to use that calculation.
And what I wanted to do was people who do to put in calculations and look at their age ranges.
Okay.
Let's see the difference in ages. Mine was 35 at my current age, 56. My current youngest age is 35. My oldest is 98.
You said 98?
Child, mine said 104. What I look like with a man 104 years old. And my youngest is 37.
Hey, you be set for life.
You're a tenderoni. You're a tenderoni to a 104-year-old.
I'm just like, really? Child, please. No.
Hey, between those Viagra milkshakes, hey, you know, he might do you something you don't know.
Did everybody try it? That was cute. That was a cute little calculator, but it's not for me. Not for me.
Marlena, what's your age range?
Oh, well, my youngest said 22, and then the oldest said 46.
Okay, what about you, Anson? Did you try?
How come I got 104?
I'm on the screen right now. Youngest 26, oldest 62.
You said how was your youngest?
26.
26
and the oldest 62. Yep.
All right. Hey, Lady T. I know you already got a husband. What's your age range?
Oh, baby, it's 30.5 to 80. I take them all. Take them all.
Blind, crippled, and crazy.
I take that too. They so much easier to deal with.
But for you know what? For the generator 104, I was like 104. What am I?
It's twice your age minus 7 years. Yes, 104. Mine's is 98. So hey, it is what it is. Miss Keisha, what about you?
My youngest was 18.5 and oldest is 32.
Oh, you a youngster. Special K?
Yeah. I don't know if Special K did it.
No, I'm here. I missed it. What is it? Can you give me the formula real quick?
No, click on it. It's in the chat.
It's in the chat. Just hit the link. You put your age in it. It tells you your oldest and youngest based off of, for the youngest, it's half your age plus 7. For oldest, it's twice your age minus 7.
Okay, so my youngest is 29 and the oldest will be 76. I don't think so, but
yeah, that
I ain't doing 76.
I ain't doing 104. I ain't even doing 64.
Mr. Gibbons, are you on?
Who's
Mr. Gibbons?
Yes, I'm on.
What plug in those and see what your and let us know what your oldest and youngest are.
A dream, you hear? A dream. I guess she might have stepped away. Okay.
What about Galaxy 8?
All right.
Go ahead.
That's Crystal.
Go ahead, Ryan.
All right, so my youngest is 20 and my oldest is 47.
Okay, you're a youngster. Galaxy 8.
A good age group.
Mm-hmm.
Your name was on there, but it went off, so now it's Galaxy 8, Galaxy S8.
Oh, that's Crystal.
Crystal.
Did you do it, Crystal? Did you click on the easy calculation?
35 is the youngest, 96 was the oldest. Can't do.
I know you can't.
No.
96. I can't get over this 104. Y'all wrong for that.
I'm
Nasty
barely moving it. 10
Jackson.
age, 10 different age difference.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty Jackson,
Bridget,
what
did
about
you
you?
do it?
Yeah, I did it minus 36 and 102. Never.
Oh, you
I-
right behind me with these 100. What can a 100-year-old man do for us, Bridget?
I'm good. I'm good.
Nothing at all.
The
Mine was
sunshine.
27.
Go ahead,
Dr.
Nancy
Sugar,
J.
2768.
You're youngin.
How old?
Miss
Yeah,
27 to 68.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
not.
okay.
Miss Sunshine.
How you know that's a Miss Sunshine?
I did mine and it said 31.5 and 84.
Oh, okay. I got
But as you can see, those are wild ages. That's what they say in the age gap difference can be that to be socially acceptable. But we all know we're more. I also put in the box that we're more comfortable with the 1 to 3 year age difference. At 10 it becomes, because 10 years is a generation. So 10 years is a generation. So you figure anything outside of 10 years, either way, they grew up totally different from you, because if it's 10 years older, they were out of high school, you still in elementary school. What were y'all gonna talk about, Elmo? If they're 10 years younger, you in college, they in middle school. What y'all gonna play, hopscotch? So
But Dr. Good, y'all, people have to understand, you have to look at their past. Some people, like I think Dr. Fabulous said, the old soul. So some of them are young, but they like old music. They like sitting at home. They like chilling out. Right.
Yes.
So
I agree.
that's why I believe in putting on a label with that.
But I agree.
Or stereotype.
But the studies have shown that a 10-year age gap is probably for longevity reasons. A 10-year age gap is probably the maximum without having additional problems. Like I stated earlier in the show, especially a younger woman, older man, if she's 40 and he's 60, when she's 60, she gonna be pushing him around in the wheelchair. And I don't know if she's ready for that. Saying, Cher is dating Cher is 76. She is dating a 34-year-old man. Now we all say, the old saying is old men got worms. If old men got worms, what do old women have?
Butterflies.
They got some juicy stuff.
They got butterflies.
I'm gonna say sandpaper.
Oh,
you wrong.
Who said sandpaper? Who said sandpaper? Did
Let me
Dr.
stop.
Feelgood say sandpaper?
But that was a joke, ladies and gents. Don't cancel me. But it's just funny though, how we look at age and look at how looking at what I just showed you, a fun exercise to do. But understanding that your Anson said it beautiful. Your preference is your preference. You like who you like, and you shouldn't let other people tell you what to like and who to like. But you have to be able to withstand some of the negative comments that come with that's outside what we consider normal. Now, in the early 90s, about 115, 120 years ago, like I said, my women were 16, between 15 and 18 having children and already married. We can't even fathom that today. They got shows for women that are pregnant at 15. Y'all know what shows I'm talking about. Go ahead, Anson.
I'm gonna share a perspective that no one really thinks about. but I've said on this show before that I have been called cougar meat. And I've been called cougar meat by cougars. So I kind of got some experience in this older women thing. And I can say, coming from a younger man's perspective, that older women can be just as or more aggressive than younger women. Older women know what they want. So that would be, yeah, that would be an advantage to dating the older woman, is that she knows what she want already. You just have to, it has to align with what you want. So as long as you treat it properly, I guess it's okay.
So that's why you got
they also ain't got no time though. They ain't got no time for no game. They ain't got no time for game they don't have no time for games. We just heard that. We just heard that from Miss Crystal. People talk about 55 and still playing games. The issue is that, you know, some of us are old because we're mature in mind. Some of us are old. We could be 20 years old and be old because of our closed-mindedness. Because as you get older, your thoughts get more rigid for the most part. Now, I haven't seen us in this particular group do that, but there's some things that, you know, we look at some of the people in our children's generation. We're kind of like, what the heck? But think about it, 30 years ago, and I can say that and actually mean something. Our parents were saying the same thing about us. What these kids doing? So you gotta look, are the people happy? If you happy with who you are, age is relative. I'm not gonna say it, like I said, 16 will get you 20, but but age is relative, and be happy with who you with. If they make you happy, I don't care what anybody else say. As long as you're a consenting adult and they're a consenting adult, then there shouldn't, I ain't got nothing to go on do with they in the bedroom. And on that note, I'm gonna pass it back to the CEO, the lady that makes this show go. And she knows she's a pro, but I'm gonna say, oh no, and pass it over to Dr. Fab.
Okay, Anson has his hand up.
Yeah, I want to say that before we close out is that, you know, one thing that's come up throughout the night about the age difference is maturity. And I can say from experience, from just being on here alone, is that maturity and age do not correlate. It's some things that we've talked about that people younger than me have talked about, because I've employed children at my store. And some of the issues that we talked about is concerning them just as much as it concern us. And maturity is based on who you're dealing with. And as far as what you call mature, other people might not call mature. So it's all about preference. And like I said before, it's all about how you're getting treated in any relationship. So it doesn't matter what other people think. All that matters is how you are getting treated by the person that you are with.
Okay. Well, thank you, Anson. But you all know what was so funny? And someone sent it to me. I was trying to find it in my phone. It says, when a young man walk around and says he has a cougar, and him and his cougar are in intimate moments, and he try to throw her leg back, and she say, no, baby, don't do that. I got arthritis. That thing was funny to me. They sent it to me. So, you know, it was a little, I guess, insider, but it was really funny. Y'all had to see it. But nevertheless, I am yours truly, Dr. Fabulous. And yes, I am the CEO of Upscale Love for You. And I just wanted to put it out there. We have a group on Facebook. Please go and join and add yourself to the group, as well as go to YouTube and like us, share us, and definitely subscribe. And last year we had a masquerade ball, and it was on land. This year we're taking it to a whole nother level. We're going to do a 3-day cruise to the beautiful Bahamas, and we're going to have the masquerade ball, or excuse me, masquerade celebration at sea. So please check it out. We are putting information up in Facebook, and we would love for each and every one of you to join us on that 3-day cruise. As they say, get on this here fantastic voyage, and we would love to see you there. Crystal, you know, I'm counting on you to come with you and your snickerdoodle. But anyway, nevertheless, I'm inviting each and every one of you to come on and travel the 7 seas with us and have a great time. If you need more information about it, check it out on Facebook, and it's going to be a blast. And without further ado, guess what, y'all? It's 10 p.m. straight up and down. And we've been trying to do this to get off right at 10. We did the doggone thing tonight, you all. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming. And it has definitely been a joyous occasion. Nikki, Cliff, I didn't get a chance to hear you tonight. Cliff, you must be new. And Sunshine, 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 are you a man or a woman? Sunshine, can you hear me? I guess Sunshine say, I still got to think about that thing. They not telling me. They keeping me in suspense. But nevertheless, I thank each and every, oh, Sunshine say, okay, all right. Welcome, welcome, Sunshine. And Cliff and everyone else that came through. But hopefully next week, we will please also, if you have a topic that you want to talk about, it's never too big, too small, but something that's harvesting in your heart and you want to talk about it, please send that to our email. That's Upscale Love for You, just like it sounds, Upscale Love, the number 4, the letter U at gmail.com. And we will definitely talk about it. So I'm going to say, without further ado, I'm going to tell you all good night. And guess what, y'all? Smooches, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.